of the things that many people ask me about is, if you're a small company and you're in services, how easy is it to get in some of these faraway overseas markets? It's one thing being a big manufacturing company or a huge brand name like BP or Unilever, but what about a small company that's doing things in services? So I'm going to talk now to Olly Riches and Michael Page and ask him what his experience has been like and how he got into this market. Olly, tell me about who you're working with and what Michael Page does.
So Michael Page is a British recruitment firm, about 6,000 people, so it's very well established in the core markets. In Asia, we've been in Hong Kong and Singapore since the mid-90s.
You've been now in Asia, what, roughly?
About 20 years.
20 years. But no one during the first 20 years had really seriously thought about having an office in Indonesia. Why not? What was it about the market that, if you like, put the company off a little bit at that stage, given how big Indonesia is?
Absolutely, a lack of knowledge, and this is no disrespect to my colleagues in the UK, and I was in the UK as well. Indonesia was never a conversation. When I joined Michael Page in 2000, so I left to go to Asia in 2006, Indonesia never came up other than a holiday destination.
And why is that? Because I think this is quite a common thing in the UK. Do you think that we don't know enough geographically about what Indonesia actually is?
Completely. My CEO was here for the first time 2 weeks ago, and he was blown away by the scale of Indonesia. 250 million people, 6% of the population at an age where they are, at working age, and phenomenal potential.
How did you get the permissions? What were the barriers you had to jump over, and how did you do that?
We work closely with advisors like British Chamber of Commerce, similar to what we have done in other countries we've opened in Asia. British Chamber's always somewhere we go first, and we've got a good relationship with them. Purely from a knowledge point of view, it's very hard to open Indonesia from Singapore. You have to have somebody on the ground who's willing to spend the time, patience, sense of humour to really understand how the country works. And it's such a relationship-led country, and that's really where the similarity with China is. Guanxi and all these things are very similar here. It's about who you know as much as what you know.
If you were talking to a services company that wanted to come here, would you
Absolutely.
send them to the investment board or BKPM for advice on
Sure.
how to do it?
We now advise companies on this is your step-by-step plan. And once we've spoken to the British Chamber of Commerce and Chris Wren and the guys there who really know it, you get your step-by-step plan. It's actually not as hard as everybody thinks. The problem is if you start guessing and getting advice in lots of different areas, you go around and say this plan in Indonesia for the next 5 years is difficult. It's going to be volatile. It is a developing country. And the biggest problem companies face here is reporting back to London or New York or wherever it might be where expectations are going like this, particularly if China's slowing down. You need to make your upside from somewhere. That is, to answer your question originally, why is Indonesia slow to take off? It's not now. So when my CEO talks to the shareholders on his monthly call, Indonesia is becoming far more towards the top of the agenda than it ever has been. And that means great opportunity for Indonesia. However, it still needs to be put into perspective that it's a country where you have to learn first and then influence later form. The people here who I see struggle try and get everything done within the first 6 months. Or they're here for 2 years and make it very clear to everybody, I'm only here for 2 years. People aren't going to follow you for very long in Indonesia if you're clearly here just for the money. You have to be here to give back.
And you have to be here with a long-term commitment.